The fluorescent lights of the Goan gas hummed their usual monotonous tune, a sound I'd come to associate with the deep, inky blackness of 3 a.m. Out here, miles from the nearest town, the highway was a silent ribbon of asphalt, and the gas station felt like a tiny, brightly lit island in an ocean of dark cornfields. I was propped up behind the counter scrolling through my phone, the silence broken only by the buzz of the lights and the gurgle of the coffee machine. It was a typical Tuesday night shift, or Wednesday morning, technically, utterly, blessedly boring. That's when I heard it. A soft, rhythmic sound. Thump, thump, thump. I looked up, scanning the empty store. The chip aisle was still. The soda coolers were quiet. My eyes landed on the bathroom door at the far end of the counter. The sign on it read, "Out of order." It had been for weeks. The lock was busted in a way that it was permanently jammed shut. My boss, a man who valued $1 more than functionality, had taped the sign over it and called it a day. No one went in there. No one could go in there. Thump, thump, thump. It was coming from the bathroom. My heart did a little stutter step. It was probably just the pipes, I told myself. Old building, old plumbing. Weird noises were part of the package. I tried to go back to my phone, but the sound was insistent, deliberate. It wasn't the random clanking of pipes, it was a knock. A knock from the inside of the locked bathroom. My throat went dry. "Hello?" I called out, my voice sounding small and shaky in the cavernous silence. "Is someone in there?" The knocking stopped. For a moment, there was only the hum of the lights again. I held my breath, straining my ears. Maybe I'd imagined it. Lack of sleep and too much caffeine can play tricks on you. I was just about to exhale, to laugh at myself, when a new sound started. A scratching. A slow, methodical scraping like fingernails dragging down a wooden door. It was coming from the bottom of the bathroom door, right near the floor. I slowly stood up, my eyes glued to the door. Every horror movie cliché screamed at me to stay put, to call someone, to run. But I was the only one here. My rational mind was desperately trying to find an explanation. A rat? A big one? Trapped inside? It was plausible. Unpleasant, but plausible. "Hey," I said, trying to sound firm, authoritative. "If someone's in there, this isn't funny. That door is broken." The scratching stopped. A beat of silence passed, thick and heavy. And then a voice, a whisper that seemed to slide under the door and curl around my ankles. It was raspy, dry, like autumn leaves skittering across pavement. "It's so dark in here." I froze. Ice flooded my veins. It wasn't a rat. It was a man's voice. But it was wrong. It was thin, stretched, like it was being pulled through a keyhole. I backed away from the counter, my hand fumbling for my phone on the countertop. I needed to call the police. I needed to call my boss. I needed to call anyone. Before I could grab it, the doorknob on the bathroom door began to jiggle. Violently. The whole door rattled in its frame, the out-of-order sign flapping with the movement. It was impossible. I had personally checked that door 100 times. The mechanism was rusted solid. You'd need a crowbar to get it open. Clank, clank, rattle. The sound was frantic, desperate, and then it stopped as abruptly as it began. Silence descended again. My heart was a drum against my ribs. I stared at the door, waiting. Seconds stretched into what felt like an eternity. I thought maybe, whatever it was, had given up. Then I saw it. Something was seeping from under the door, a dark, thick liquid pooling on the cheap linoleum floor. It wasn't water. It was too dark, too viscous. It smelled coppery and sweet, a sickeningly familiar scent that made my stomach churn. I watched, mesmerized with horror, as the puddle slowly spread, a dark stain growing in the sterile white light of the store, and the voice came again. No longer a whisper, but a low, guttural plea that sounded like it was being spoken right next to my ear. "Please, let me out." I didn't scream. The sound was trapped in my throat, a knot of pure terror. My body finally decided to move. I stumbled backward, knocking over a display of chewing gum. I didn't look back. I scrambled for the front door, my fingers fumbling with the lock. The little bell above the door chimed mockingly as I burst out into the cool night air. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached the edge of the highway, my lungs burning, the gravel crunching under my feet. I turned and looked back at the Go and Gas. It sat there, an island of light, looking completely normal, deceptively peaceful. But I knew what was inside. I never went back. I left my car, my wallet, my last paycheck. I called my boss from a payphone in the next town and told him I quit. I didn't give him a reason. How could I? How could I explain that I was working the 3 a.m. gas station shift when someone, or something, knocked from inside a bathroom that couldn't be opened? He wouldn't have believed me. Sometimes I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But then I remember the sound of that scratching, the smell of that dark liquid, and the chilling, impossible whisper that still haunts my quietest moments. Let me out.